Right, so the first thing for the term we revised was the laws of directed numbers, addition and subtraction laws. And we know the addition and subtraction laws, right? We use the addition and subtraction laws to simplify numbers. We use it to simplify like terms, as the case may be, right? So the addition and subtraction law. And there were two laws we learned. The first law was same signs, add and keep the same sign. And the second law was different signs, subtract and keep the bigger sign, right? Same signs, for example, -3 is -6. Different signs, for example, -3 plus 8 is +5. We master all them laws now by now, right? Lastly, however, we went on to the multiplication laws, which was a little bit new. And the multiplication laws was as follows. A positive multiplied by a positive is a positive. Negative times a negative is a positive. A positive times a negative is a negative, and a negative times a positive is a negative. And we practice these laws on them, right, with normal numbers, and then we introduce some algebraic terms, multiplying algebraic terms as the case may be. And let's do a quick recap here. For example, we had -3x multiplied by -2, right? 3x by 2 is 6x, and negative times negative is positive. Example again here, you could say -2x multiplied by 5x. 5 by 2 is 10. Negative times positive is negative. X times x is x squared, as the case may be, right? And after those laws and them now, what we need to know is the division laws of direct numbers, right? And the division laws of direct numbers are simple to learn because the division laws are the exact same laws as the multiplication laws, right? So we can head up that now. The division laws of directed numbers, right? And let's look at the division laws. A positive term, positive quantity divided by a positive quantity, going to give you a positive. A negative divided by a negative, going to give you a positive. Positive divided by a negative, going to give you a negative. And the last law here, which is a negative divided by a positive, is a negative, right? Good. And these are the same laws as the multiplication laws, which makes it easy to learn because we don't know them. Right? Extremely easy to learn. And there will be some examples here quickly, right? So let's say we have -30 divided by 5, right? Or point to note, we could write it like this as well. -30 divided by 5. So the answer here is 30 divided by 5 is 6. Negative divided by positive, we know the positive is understood there. Negative divided by positive is negative. So -6 is the answer here. Example again here. Say -25 divided by -5. 25 into 5. 25 divided by 5 is 5. -1, negative is +5. Or we can just write it as 5. Example again. Let's say we have 15 divided by -2. Right? We know this result here going to produce an improper fraction. Right? Sorry, this is going to produce a mixed number. Right? 13 divided by 2. 6 2s are 12. So this is 6.5. And positive divided by negative is negative 6.5. Right? So these are the division laws, which is the exact same laws as the multiplication laws. But what we want to do here is we want to practice these laws and them, right? And we want to practice dividing algebraic terms with the laws. So that's what we want to go into now, right? So take down these laws, take all time, take down the laws, take down these basic examples here, because the laws are simple to learn. And I'm waiting for you, all right? So let's move on to look at some examples. So make sure, what I recommend, you have a little cue card with all these laws on them. So you could always refer to them, easy to revise. And when you're doing exam questions and stuff, you just quickly refer the laws if you need to, right? Good. So let me look at some examples here now. So let's just say we have something like this. Minus 20 x squared divided by minus 2x, right? I prefer to write it like this. Minus 20 x squared divided by minus 2x, right? So we can break up this question here and understand it a little more easier, right? So we know minus 20 x squared was formed by taking minus 20 multiplying it by x squared, and x squared is x times x, right? And minus 2x was minus 2 multiplied by x. So now we can clearly see that we can cancel off certain things here, right? So let me deal with the signs first. A negative divided by a negative, if you look back at your laws, right? Negative divided by a negative is positive. So let me deal with the signs first, right? Good to go with that. 20 over 2. 2 into 2, 1. 2 into 20 is 10. So we have 10 here, right? And then now x squared over x. One of the x cancels off, so it is positive 10x. Right? We know the positive understood. We don't need to write it, but we could write it if you want, right? This is how simple this is. Let's look at our next example here. Let's say I have 4xy divided by minus 2x. Okay, what could cancel off here? Well, we look at the signs again first. Positive is understood by the 4xy. Positive over negative. Positive divided by negative is negative. Right? 2 into 2, 1. 2 into 4 is 2. And xy is x by y divided by x. One of the x cancels off, right? So the answer is minus 2y. Again, example again. Let's say we have minus 40x squared y squared divided by 5x squared y. So let's be careful with this one here, right? Take the time. We could always break up the question if you want. If you can see the cancellation process easy, go ahead and do it. But you could always break it up, right? These are the first few examples we're doing, so let's take the time with them. So minus 40 x squared y squared is really minus 40 multiplied by x squared, and x squared is x by x, and y squared is y by y. And this is divided by 5x squared, which is 5 times x by x again, right? Because x squared is x times x, and then multiply by y, right? So now we can clearly see now what cancelling off here. Positive sign is understood. So you can see now negative divided by positive is negative. 5 into 5, 1. 5 into 40 is 8. So that is negative 8. And we can clearly see the x squared into x squared is 1. Anything over itself is 1, right? So x cancel off with x cancel off with x, right? And then y squared over y, one of the y cancels off. So minus 8y is the answer here, right? Okay, we're going good so far. There you go again. We have room to do some more examples. So let's do some more examples here, right? Create a little space here. Now use the right hand side of the page. Right, when I finish all the examples, I'll give a little chance to take it on, right? So don't worry. So you're going here again now. Let's say we have 36a squared b divided by minus 6a. Right? So perfect write it like this: 36a squared b over minus 6a. Let's see what can cancel off here now, right? So the numerator is 36 by a squared, which is 36 by a by b divided by minus 6 by a. You can clearly see what cancelling off here, right? The signs first. Positive over negative is negative. 6 into 36 is 6. A cancel off with one of the a, so we remain with a by b in the numerator, which is eb. So minus 6 ab, right? Or you could just look at it here. Only look at this here, right? Think about it quickly. One of the a cancels off, so you remain with ab in the answer, and then 36 divided by 6 is 6. Positive divided by negative is negative. Good to go, right? But this is the working for it, right? You help you understand that a little better, right? Eventually, we wouldn't, when we master these laws on them, or we master working with algebraic terms, right? These things will be second nature to you. You can see them and cancel them off easy. Very easy to see them to cancel off, right? Nice. So I do one more example here. So let's say I have negative 35 xy over minus 7xy. Okay. Negative divided by negative is what? Negative over negative is? Somebody hand up. Somebody can answer. Anybody can answer. Paris? Negative divided by negative. Kyla? Go ahead.
Positive.
Positive, right? I see some persons completing chat. Good. So positive, and then we have 35 over 7 is how much?
5.
5. Good. And then we have xy over xy cancels off. Let us give you a 1, right? So what we're going to say here? This cancels off with this to give you a 1, right? 1 by plus 7 into 35 is 5. So the 5 by 1 is 5. So the answer here is just positive 5, right? So go ahead, take this down anyway. We have room for one more example. Let's do one more example, right? Nothing wrong doing one more example here. Let's say we have 9x cubed divided by minus 3x squared, right? We need to be careful here. We see a cube here. We could break up 9x cubed to be 9 by x by x by x. Cube x to the power 3 is x by itself 3 times. Now we dividing this by minus 3 by x squared. X squared is x by itself 2 times, right? Again, let's reiterate. When we write the multiplication sign and normal x, when we write x in algebra, is like this, right? So let's do the calculations here quickly. Positive divided by negative is negative. 3 into 9 is 3. So we have negative 3 so far. And if you look here, 2 of the x squared is going to cancel off here out of the 3. So these two cancel off with 2 here. And 1 remains. So minus 3x is the answer here, right? So you will go ahead and take this down now. When you're doing the division, students, just be careful, right? Especially most of you on the 4 months and probably didn't do algebra yet. Look at the laws, make sure you have the laws down. Right? If you're confident with the laws, well, the next thing now, we know how to divide numbers already, right? Cancellation are easy to do, right? But the algebraic terms now, if you want, break it up. Remember x squared, x multiplied by x, right? So if you have a squared, right? A squared is what? A multiplied by a, right? If you have more than one algebraic terms here, variables here, x squared, y squared, and if you had an x letter cells, multiply them out. So you can see, right, what could cancel off clearly and what remains, right? Good. When you finish them, I know I've got some questions for you to practice. And yeah. Hi students, so now that we know the division laws, we know the multiplication laws, and we know the addition and subtraction laws, we have this exercise to do here. And this exercise consists of 3 sections, right? The first section, the instructions are simple. Simplify the like terms. And when I say simplify, we're going to simplify using the laws of directed numbers. And when I say like terms, you know, like terms are terms of the same variable, right? So if we need rearranging, rearrange them where possible, right? So simplify, for example, the x squared with the x squared and the x term with the x term, as the case may be. And we're using the addition and subtraction laws here, students, right? Good, because we see addition signs and subtraction signs, a lot of them, right? So take your time with these. The second section, we're going to use the multiplication laws. What is the main indicator to use the multiplication laws? You see the multiplication sign to begin with. Or you can see brackets, right? As a number 2, we see our brackets here. The brackets means to multiply, right? And we're doing the multiplication laws now. Be careful. For example, from number 5 here, we see in, no, from number 4 here, in fact, we see in 3 terms, right? Do them in pairs, right? And then when I get your answer here, multiply by the third term, right? The division laws here, we recently did some examples here, so we're confident with them, right? So take your time and cancel them off. You can show your work in and cancel off, just take your time, look at the signs, divide the numbers and the variable terms, right? And once we practice these questions, these 3 sections here, we understand the differences when we need to use the addition and subtraction laws, right? The multiplication laws is a giveaway. We could only use this law when there's a multiplication sign or when we see brackets, and the brackets means to multiply, right? And the division laws is also an next giveaway, right? We know when to use those laws, right? So we don't want to mix up the laws on them. So if you want to look back at your notes, look back at your notes on them, right? Look back at the examples and do these first section. Then look back at the examples again, do the second section, and then do the third section, right? We have enough examples to go through, and we should be able to handle this little exercise here, right?